Have you heard about the surprising changes coming to your grocery store shelves? As the world tackles challenges like climate change, supply chain disruptions, and growing global shortages, the food industry is under unprecedented pressure. Some of the everyday items you rely on could disappear entirely, leaving you scrambling to adjust. But don't worry, we've got your back. In today's video, we're uncovering 12 grocery staples that may become incredibly hard to find, and it could happen as soon as next month. Stick with us until the end, and we'll share tips to help you stay prepared and keep your pantry stocked before these essentials vanish for good. Let's dive in. Number 12. Canned tuna, a household favorite at risk. Have you noticed that your go-to canned tuna is becoming harder to find? This pantry staple is swimming against a tide of challenges, and its future might not be as secure as you think. First, let's talk about overfishing. Tuna populations, especially bluefin and yellowfin tuna, are severely strained. Despite regulations and quotas, illegal fishing practices and skyrocketing global demand are driving these species closer to collapse. And that's not all. Climate change is reshaping the oceans. Warmer waters are disrupting tuna migration patterns and breeding cycles, leaving fishermen struggling to find them in traditional fishing grounds. The problem is compounded by shifts in marine ecosystems, where the smaller fish tuna rely on for food are becoming scarce. Fewer prey means fewer tuna. Even when tuna is caught, getting it to your pantry isn't as simple as you might think. Aluminum, the key material for making cans, is in short supply. Rising costs for aluminum and disruptions in manufacturing are leading to fewer cans on store shelves and at higher prices. Add transportation and supply chain issues into the mix, and you've got a perfect storm for scarcity. So, what can you do? If canned tuna is a must-have in your kitchen, now's the time to stock up. With environmental pressures and manufacturing hurdles, this once-abundant staple might soon become a rare find. Tuna lovers, take note. Your favorite mealtime go-to might not be around forever. Number 11. Tomato-based products. A kitchen crisis in the making, from canned tomatoes to pasta sauces and everyone's favorite condiment, ketchup. These tomato-based essentials are facing some big challenges. Tomato-based essentials, like canned tomatoes, pasta sauces, and everyone's beloved ketchup, are facing a wave of challenges that could make them scarce and pricey. So, what's causing the trouble? The primary culprit is extreme weather. California, one of the world's biggest tomato-growing regions, has been hammered by record-breaking droughts and scorching heat waves. Tomatoes thrive in consistent water and mild temperatures, so these extreme conditions spell disaster for crops. When nature doesn't cooperate, harvests shrink, leaving farmers with fewer and often lower-quality tomatoes. But the weather is only part of the problem. The rising costs of farming essentials, like fertilizers, fuel, and labor, are making it harder for growers to keep their operations afloat. High production costs force farmers to pass those expenses on to consumers, meaning your favorite marinara sauce or ketchup could come with a higher price tag. Global supply chain disruptions are adding to the chaos. Shipping delays, packaging shortages, and logistical bottlenecks mean fewer tomato-based products are making it to store shelves, even as demand remains high. What does this mean for you? If tomato-based products are a staple in your kitchen, now's the time to stock up. Those jars of sauce and bottles of ketchup might disappear faster than you think, leaving you with fewer and more expensive options. Don't wait until it's too late. Number 10. Olive oil, a liquid gold crisis. Olive oil, the cornerstone of kitchens worldwide, is facing an unexpected crisis that threatens its availability and cost. This beloved liquid gold is largely produced in the Mediterranean, with about 70% of the world's supply coming from Spain, Italy, and Greece. Unfortunately, these regions are under siege by a combination of environmental and economic challenges. Prolonged droughts and relentless heat waves have slashed olive yields dramatically. Spain, the world's largest olive oil producer, has seen harvest reductions of over 50% in some areas. And that's just the beginning. Rising temperatures have created the perfect breeding ground for pests like the destructive olive fruit fly, which thrives in warmer climates and wreaks havoc on crops. Adding to the devastation are plant diseases like Xylella fastidiosa, often referred to as the olive tree killer. This disease has wiped out millions of olive trees across Europe, further shrinking production. But it's not just about supply. Rising costs for production, transportation, and bottling are making olive oil more expensive to produce and distribute. This combination of reduced supply and higher costs has driven prices through the roof, making olive oil a luxury item in some markets. What's the takeaway? If olive oil is a must-have in your kitchen, it's wise to buy a few extra bottles now. With the current trends, this liquid gold could become harder to find and even pricier in the near future. Number 10. Olive oil. Liquid gold, turning into a luxury. The challenges facing olive oil don't stop at production quantity. They're also impacting quality. Diseases like Xylella fastidiosa, often called the olive tree killer, have ravaged olive groves, further reducing harvests. As yields shrink and the quality of olives drops, prices are soaring. In some areas, olive oil prices have spiked by as much as 40%, leaving consumers grappling with whether they can afford this pantry staple. If these trends persist, olive oil may transition from being a kitchen essential to a luxury item. Imagine a kitchen without olive oil. Could you prepare your favorite dishes without it? If you spot olive oil on store shelves, now might be the time to grab a few extra bottles. This beloved ingredient could become a rare and expensive commodity, or even disappear entirely. Number 9. Ronzoni pastina. Saying goodbye to a comfort food classic. Coming in at number 9 is a heartbreaker. Ronzoni pastina, the tiny star-shaped pasta cherished by generations. For many Italian-American households, pastina was more than just food. It was a tradition. Its versatility and nostalgic charm made it a go-to for soups, creamy dishes, and meals that felt like a warm hug in a bowl. But now, this pantry staple is being discontinued. Ronzoni recently announced that it would no longer produce pastina, leaving fans devastated. Surprisingly, the decision wasn't due to lack of demand. Pastina remains incredibly popular. The real issue? Ronzoni's trusted supplier, which had been producing the iconic star-shaped pasta for years, could no longer continue. After an exhaustive search, Ronzoni was unable to find another supplier that met their high-quality standards. With no viable alternative, the company made the difficult decision to discontinue the product entirely. The news sparked an outcry. Fans flooded social media with petitions and heartfelt pleas, hoping to save their cherished pasta. Many rushed to stores, clearing shelves of any remaining boxes. Others turned to online marketplaces, where the price of pastina has skyrocketed. Despite the overwhelming response, Ronzoni confirmed that there are no plans to bring pastina back. This leaves countless households wondering how they'll recreate their favorite recipes without it. What's the takeaway? If you spot a box of pastina on store shelves, don't hesitate. Grab it while you can. After this month, one of the most comforting pantry staples in history will officially be gone. Number 8. Chocolate, a sweet treat under threat. Imagine walking down the candy aisle, eager to grab your favorite chocolate bar, only to find empty shelves, or prices so high they make you think twice. It may sound dramatic, but this could soon become our reality. What's causing this potential chocolate crisis? Climate change is the main culprit. Chocolate production relies heavily on cacao trees, which thrive in specific conditions: high humidity, warm temperatures, and consistent rainfall. Unfortunately, the regions where these trees grow, primarily West Africa, are facing rising temperatures and unpredictable weather patterns. Prolonged droughts and erratic rainfall are making it harder for farmers to produce cacao, leading to declining yields. Adding to the problem are economic challenges. Cacao farmers, many of whom operate on razor-thin margins, are struggling with rising costs for labor and farming supplies. Some are even abandoning cacao farming altogether in search of more sustainable livelihoods. And then there's the global demand. Chocolate consumption continues to rise, particularly in emerging markets, putting even more pressure on the limited supply. The result? A growing gap between how much cacao we produce and how much chocolate the world craves. What does this mean for you? If these trends continue, chocolate could become a rare luxury rather than an everyday treat. Prices for chocolate bars, baking chocolate, and even hot cocoa could skyrocket, making your favorite indulgence much harder to afford. So, if you're a chocolate lover, it might be time to savor every bite and consider stocking up while you still can. The chocolate industry is grappling with serious challenges, and the heart of the issue lies in cocoa production. Here's the reality. Over 60% of the world's cocoa comes from West Africa, with Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire leading the charge. These cocoa-rich regions are under threat, and climate change is the primary culprit. Unpredictable rainfall, extended droughts, and blistering heat are disrupting cocoa farms, making it increasingly difficult to maintain healthy crops. But that's not all. Diseases like black pod and pests such as the cocoa swollen shoot virus are devastating harvests. These problems don't just reduce the quantity of cocoa beans, but also impact their quality, creating more hurdles for farmers. Another challenge? Cocoa farming is physically demanding, and fewer young people are choosing to stay in rural areas to carry on the tradition. Many are moving to cities in search of better opportunities, leaving farms understaffed and struggling to keep up. Meanwhile, global demand for chocolate is skyrocketing, especially in emerging markets. This growing appetite, combined with shrinking supply, is driving up cocoa bean prices. What was once an everyday indulgence is rapidly becoming a luxury. What's the takeaway? The next time you unwrap a silky, rich chocolate bar, take a moment to savor it. Chocolate as we know it might soon become a rarity, and those sweet treats could become far harder and more expensive to enjoy. Number 7. Wheat products. The staple that's under siege. Wheat products are a pantry essential around the world, forming the backbone of staples like bread, pasta, and breakfast cereals. But a mix of global crises and environmental challenges could soon make these everyday items harder to find and more expensive. One major factor: climate change. Prolonged droughts and extreme weather events are wreaking havoc on wheat crops worldwide. Key producers like the United States, Canada, and parts of Europe are seeing disrupted harvests due to unpredictable weather patterns. For example, in 2023, severe droughts swept through the U.S. Midwest, slashing wheat yields and triggering price surges that rippled across global markets. But climate isn't the only culprit. Geopolitical turmoil has tightened the global wheat supply as well. Did you know that Ukraine and Russia account for nearly 1/3 of the world's wheat exports? The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has disrupted shipping routes, leaving critical supplies stranded. This bottleneck has created shortages and steep price hikes that are being felt in supermarkets everywhere. Adding to the pressure, farmers are grappling with rising production costs. Fertilizers, fuel, and other agricultural essentials have become significantly more expensive. Many farmers are struggling to break even, with some scaling back wheat production entirely. What does this mean for you? If these trends persist, staples like flour, bread, and pasta could become harder to find and much pricier. Stocking up on your favorite wheat-based products now might be a wise move. The pantry items you take for granted could soon be much less accessible. Number 6. Salmon, a delicacy in peril attention. Salmon lovers, if this fish is a staple on your plate, it's time to savor every bite. Salmon, especially varieties from the Pacific Northwest and Alaska, is facing a series of unprecedented challenges that threaten its very survival. The primary culprit? Climate change. Rising ocean temperatures are wreaking havoc on salmon ecosystems. Species like Chinook and sockeye salmon are struggling to adapt as their once stable habitats become unpredictable. Warmer waters are disrupting their spawning cycles and limiting access to the cold, oxygen-rich environments they rely on to thrive. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Severe droughts, particularly in California, are drying up critical rivers where salmon return to lay their eggs. Without these vital spawning grounds, their populations are dwindling even further. To make matters worse, overfishing is pushing some salmon species to the brink, forcing fishing bans in areas like California to protect what remains. Pollution, including industrial runoff and agricultural waste, is poisoning rivers and streams, further degrading the fragile habitats salmon depend on. The result? Fewer fish are making it to store shelves, and those that do come with a much higher price tag. If these alarming trends continue, salmon could shift from a dinner table favorite to a high-priced luxury. So, whether you enjoy it grilled, smoked, or as part of your favorite sushi roll, consider stocking up now. The day may come when this iconic fish is just a memory of meals past. Number 5. Peanut butter, a sticky situation. Peanut butter fans, brace yourselves. Your favorite spread might soon be harder to find and pricier than ever. The production of this pantry staple is facing serious hurdles, with the climate crisis taking a heavy toll on peanut farming. In the United States, one of the top peanut-producing regions, farmers are grappling with unpredictable weather patterns. Peanuts require consistent water to grow, but states like Georgia and Alabama are facing severe droughts and irregular rainfall. The result? Peanuts yields are dropping, putting the entire supply chain under strain. But it's not just water shortages causing problems. Farmers are also struggling with rising costs for essential inputs like fertilizers, fuel, and equipment. These higher costs make it more difficult for farmers to sustain their operations, leading to fewer peanuts being grown. Adding to the challenge, crop diseases and pests are becoming more prevalent due to changing weather conditions, further reducing harvests. The result is a tighter supply of peanuts, which drives up the cost of peanut butter. For consumers, this could mean higher prices at the checkout counter, or even empty shelves. Peanut butter, a go-to for quick snacks and comforting sandwiches, might soon become a more expensive indulgence rather than a pantry staple. So, peanut butter fans, now is the time to stock up. A future without this creamy or crunchy favorite is hard to imagine, but it's becoming an all-too-real possibility. Number 4. Rice, the global grain in crisis. Rice, the lifeline for over half the world's population, might soon become a rare sight on grocery store shelves. The reasons behind this alarming shift are as troubling as they are urgent. At the core of the crisis is climate change, wreaking havoc on rice farming across critical regions. Extreme weather events, such as severe droughts in Australia and erratic rainfall patterns in Southeast Asia and India, are devastating crop yields. These disruptions are pushing global rice prices to unprecedented heights. Rice farming is also incredibly water-intensive, and with freshwater supplies dwindling, farmers are finding it increasingly difficult to sustain production. While the industry is experimenting with less water-dependent rice varieties, these innovations are far from widespread adoption. Adding to the turmoil, geopolitical instability is exacerbating the problem. Export bans from major rice producers like India are causing ripple effects in the global market, leading to shortages and driving prices even higher. For countries heavily reliant on rice imports, this crisis is triggering widespread food insecurity, leaving millions vulnerable. If these challenges remain unaddressed, rice could shift from a pantry staple to an expensive luxury. It's crucial to act now, ensuring the survival of this vital crop before it becomes a distant memory on our plates. Number 3. Maple Cheerios, a heartbreaking goodbye. For breakfast lovers everywhere, the discontinuation of Maple Cheerios has been nothing short of devastating. This beloved seasonal favorite in the Cheerios lineup was cherished for its rich, sweet, and comforting maple flavor. It was the ultimate breakfast choice for cozy fall and winter mornings, evoking the warmth of autumn leaves and the joy of brisk, crisp days. So, why was it discontinued? Surprisingly, it wasn't due to a lack of popularity. Fans adored Maple Cheerios, often stocking up whenever they hit the shelves. However, changes in production priorities and shifting market trends led the company to retire this iconic flavor. The news left many loyal customers heartbroken, taking to social media to express their disappointment and nostalgia. Some lucky fans have managed to stockpile a few remaining boxes, while others scour online marketplaces, often paying inflated prices for their favorite cereal. For now, it seems Maple Cheerios is gone for good, leaving a void in breakfast bowls everywhere. If you're one of the fortunate few with a box tucked away, consider savoring each bite. It might be a long time before we see anything quite like it again. Number 2. Avocado oil, the rising star at risk. Avocado oil, a rising star in kitchens everywhere, is celebrated for its health benefits, rich flavor, and versatility in cooking. But this beloved staple may soon become a rarity. The main issue lies in the production of avocados, the source of this prized oil. Avocado trees, while incredibly productive, are infamously water-intensive. They require significant amounts of water to thrive, but key growing regions like Mexico and California are grappling with severe droughts and shrinking water supplies. As water becomes scarcer, farmers face skyrocketing costs to keep their crops alive, which drives up the price of avocado oil. Adding to the strain, climate change is introducing new challenges every year. Rising temperatures, erratic rainfall, and extreme weather patterns are wreaking havoc on avocado farms. Smaller harvests mean fewer fruits for oil production, and the avocados that do survive often fail to meet the high standards required for cold-pressed oil. Meanwhile, demand for avocados continues to soar, driven by the growing popularity of health-conscious diets and plant-based fats. This increasing demand, combined with dwindling supplies, has led to a dramatic surge in avocado oil prices. If these trends persist, it's possible we could see avocado oil vanish from store shelves altogether. For now, if you're a fan of its creamy flavor and health benefits, it might be time to stock up while you still can. Number 1. Sriracha sauce, the hot sauce that could vanish. If you love the bold, spicy heat of sriracha, brace yourself. Your go-to hot sauce might soon become a rare treasure. Haiphong Foods' iconic sriracha sauce, a pantry essential for spice lovers worldwide, is facing severe production challenges that could make it scarce in the near future. The main culprit? Red jalapeno chili peppers, the fiery heart of sriracha. These peppers are grown in Mexico, where an ongoing drought crisis has caused crop yields to plummet. Extreme heat and inconsistent rainfall have drastically reduced both the quality and quantity of these peppers, leading to major disruptions in sriracha production. But the troubles don't end there. Labor shortages and logistical challenges have compounded the issue, forcing Haiphong Foods to pause production several times. The result? Shelves are emptier than ever, leaving fans scrambling to find their favorite hot sauce. The shortage has created a perfect storm of high demand and limited supply. Some die-hard fans are resorting to online resellers where prices for a single bottle have skyrocketed. Others are experimenting with alternative hot sauce brands, but none seem to replicate the signature tangy, garlicky heat that sriracha delivers. If this shortage continues, sriracha could shift from a beloved condiment to a distant memory. So, if you can't imagine your meals without that fiery kick, now is the time to act. Stock up while it's still available. You don't want to be left longing for the spice that once defined your favorite dishes. The looming shortages of pantry staples like olive oil, wheat products, and even sriracha sauce serve as a stark reminder of how rapidly things can change. From climate change to supply chain disruptions, the challenges we face are reshaping the grocery aisles and threatening to take away the items we've always relied on. But you don't have to be caught off guard. Staying informed and prepared is key. Start thinking ahead about the essentials you need to stock up on. Keep your pantry ready and take steps now to secure the items you can't live without. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with friends and family who need to know about these upcoming changes. Stay tuned for more updates, and remember, being prepared today means fewer surprises tomorrow.